Hi, I'm Melanie Zaluga, and I'm president of Red Inc., Job Interview Coaching and Presentation Critique. I'm here today to talk to you about the Today method that job interviewees can use to prepare themselves for a job interview. Many times, interviewees have difficulty thinking of examples to tell an interviewer, and many times they're cramming through lists of question upon question upon question that they may or may not be asked. The Today method provides a framework that they can use to start to think of their examples that they want to tell an interviewer. So let's take a look at the first letter, T for teamwork. Teamwork is teamwork examples are any time that you worked on a team, were a member of a team, be it a sports team, be it a group of people in school who are working on a project. It could be a team at work, or it could even be something as simple as your family unit as a team. Let's take the family unit as an example and delve into a way that you can structure these sound bites of information to make them useful for an interviewer. So let's set the stage first. When starting off on the family vacation, it became your job to plan the vacation for the year. How did you attack the problem? Let's set the stage. How did you approach the problem of figuring out where to take the family on a vacation? How many members are in your family? How long have you known them? Think about little details like that to add a little bit of color to your example and to paint a good picture for the interviewer of the kinds of situations that you were encountering. How did you determine where you should go on vacation? Did you pick a place, book the tickets, and just tell everyone where to be and when? Did you poll the members of your family and ask them where they wanted to go? Did you ask them what their budget was? Or maybe you looked at where you went last year and then decided, you know, that worked really well, let's go to a similar place this year. How did you start about making that decision? Next, when you went on the vacation, did everyone have a good time? Did it work out the way you had planned? I'm sure that there were some little challenges that came up that you needed to work through with your family members. Maybe someone wasn't at the airport on time, or they didn't like the activities that you had planned, or they were feeling sick that day. What are several examples of things that you had to do to kind of manage the situation? And lastly, how did the vacation end up? Did everyone have a good time? Was it the best vacation ever? What did you learn from the example? Would you do it the same way again? Think about things like that when you're developing your soundbite. So let's move on to the next letter in the Today acronym. O for obstacles. You want to think of any obstacles that you've worked to overcome. Now, for some people, this can be a bit of a challenge because they start to think about a time when they start to think, I can't think of a time when I had to scale a mountain or pull a child out of a burning building. I can't think of any obstacles that I really had to overcome. That's okay, because we're really looking for more concrete, down-to-earth examples. The next letter in the acronym is D for duties. Now, for some people, most of our jobs these days have become so esoteric and so compartmentalized that it's difficult to convey what you actually do to another person. For example, I was interviewing a candidate one time. She had good customer service experience. I could tell from her resume that she had worked in a similar kind of high-paced, fast environment. But what I needed to know was what she did on a day-to-day basis. If I had to look at her for a day or a week, what activities would I see that she does in her job? Does she get a lot of phone calls all the time? Does she get a lot of emails? How does she prioritize her work? What kinds of requests does she get? Are they pretty easy and she can blow through them pretty quickly? Or some of them longer projects that it's going to take her weeks or even months to complete? A in the Today acronym is for achievements. Now, for some people, They may think that I've already talked about overcoming the obstacles and I've come up with those examples, so what achievements could I possibly have? The thing to remember with the TODAY acronym is that each letter can stand for examples that you want to think about to tell an interviewer. It's perfectly fine to not immediately think of or not think of any examples of achievements that you have that you would want to tell an interviewer. For some cases, you're going to have 3, 4, 5, or 6 examples of times when you worked on a team. So 3, 4, or 5 examples of times when you worked on a team, and that's perfectly fine. But in thinking of examples of achievements that you've had, you can think about any scholarships that you've won, any awards that you've won, promotions, raises. Why? For your strengths. You want to think of any strengths that you have. Now, for some people, you may think, I've already talked about my achievements, I've already talked about the obstacles I've overcome. What can I possibly think about for my strengths? Well, your strength could be more of a character issue, more of a, let's say that you are a people person. So let's say that you consider yourself a great people manager, people person, and that you can get yourself out of any situation. So when an interviewer asks you, tell me what your greatest strength is, you say, I'm a people person. I get along with many different people at different times. What you need to do then is follow that up with a concrete example of how your people skills got you out of a particularly sticky situation. So, in conclusion, you want to use the TODAY acronym as a framework of thinking of examples to discuss in an interview. You want to use it as a mental scavenger hunt to come up with those great examples of things that you can discuss with an interviewer that are going to give them a picture of who you are as a person, what you value, and what you would be like to work with on a day-to-day basis.